Um, if you're watching through YouTube or if you're watching on the website, we welcome you. If you're part of our conversation here, I'm so glad to join this group. My name is David Elliott. I'm the minister emeritus here at Unity of Tacoma. I'm filling in for Lori. She needed a substitute, and here I am. I'm here to tell some stories and to talk about understanding, the faculty of understanding. I'm working my way through the 12 powers this year, and since I probably won't speak during Faith in Action in the fall, I needed an extra one anyway. And I almost just went with a standalone, but I want to talk about understanding because of some events this week. Um, my title though is titled "What's So Funny." What's so funny? And what I'm playing with there is an old song. It was written by Nick Lowe in 1974. He it came out under Nick Lowe, but it was remade by Elvis Costello, and that's the version that I became familiar with. Costello put it on a single in one version, but then he created another version for his album, and that's the one you hear if you Google um, um, if you Google Elvis Costello and Google that song, What's So Funny About Peace and Understanding, you'll get the version that he published in 1979. And I want to talk a little bit about the context of what was happening in 1979. In 1979, the peace movement that had ended Vietnam was considered passé. And it was even the subject of comedians. It was made fun of a little bit on SNL, how naive maybe that had been. Um, and it was anyway, the uh, the citizenry of the United States were changing. We were evolving. We were moving out of that anti-war need, and there were other needs. And it was a time of deep change. Ronald Reagan was running for president in 1979, and he came out on top, and it's primarily because of some events that took place in Iran when the Shah was overthrown, and then the religious theocracy took over. Some Americans were taken hostage, and they were being held hostage as they demonized Jimmy Carter. They ended up letting him go the first day Reagan uh, became president, but Reagan was a far bigger threat, would have been a far bigger threat to Iran than Jimmy Carter would have been. Carter was so intent on doing it by diplomacy, and then he finally tried to do it militarily. And our equipment, which was built for Vietnam, didn't work in the desert, and and that came out in a tragedy. Well, all of that was taking place. That was a political. There was a political boil going on, the way there often is a political boil going on. And what's so funny about peace and understanding was a song that had an impact on me. I had to look into what's the meaning of this song. I had to contemplate its meaning, um, and the lyrics. It asks the question. It says, "These are troubled times." It says, "Where are the strong?" And talking about it to me, referring to the strong people, the American people showing their strength to end the war. And he asked another question: Where are the trusted? And of course, this is post Watergate. He he's a Brit, and he's singing our song. Is the way I experienced that. Well, we're at war with Iran this week. Now, I say we. I am not at war with Iran. And I'm going to guess that you are not at war with Iran. The last time I believe most of this nation was at war was World War II. because well, yeah, and the Cold War, but the people, we aren't impacted. We are not impacted by war, the wars that we get into, because nobody's bombing us. Nobody's sending missiles at us. We sit here very secure while the big wars take place. We would have a a completely different understanding. The topic today is understanding. We would have a completely different understanding of war if when we were when we were in school, if we had visited concentration camps, if we had grown up in school visiting the battlefields where so many were buried, that it would change our perspective. Understanding comes through perspective, and it comes in different ways. I have a tendency to use pop culture. I use pop culture like what's so funny about peace and understanding. And one way that I use those is by compare and contrast. I watch a movie called Tombstone, and then I'll watch a movie called Wyatt Earp. They were released within a year of one another. One starred Kurt Russell, and the other one starred um, Kevin Costner. And they're such different movies. They have the same characters. The character names are the same. The events are the same, but they're so different. And what caught my attention this last time was a side character. His name was Warren Earp. He shows up in the movie Wyatt Earp, but he shows up at the wrong time of the way things happened. And he doesn't even show up at all in the movie Tombstone. It's like the guy never existed. Can you imagine erasing a person from history, y- or changing the way things did in their life? It, it's a spiritual disrespect, if you will, but it's the nature of storytelling. The reason it's done that way is because as a character, Warren Earp is not needed. As a character, Warren Earp is he's just another Morgan, he's just another Virgil. And so by watching both of those movies and then looking up a few things online that just catch my interest, I come away with a deeper understanding of what really happened there in those events that have become iconic in American history. Plus, I get to see one good movie and one kind of movie. So that's my stuff. That's not about them at all. I found myself this week comparing two songs as I got ready to talk about understanding because of something uh, that is a common misunderstanding in pop music and especially pop country music. Um, there's a song that Guy Drake, a horrible musician named Guy Drake, sang in 1970, and the title of it is "Welfare Cadillac." And it's just a snide, sneering description of the life of someone uh, who doesn't have to pay anything and lives in squalor, but the government buys them a Cadillac, and it's just a complete attack on social services that people in this world need. It's the most racist song I've heard without mentioning race in maybe in my life. Well, Guy Drake, he sounded a little bit like Johnny Cash. And a lot of people were trying to sound like Johnny Cash then. And it became, yeah, over time, people began to get confused and think that Johnny Cash sang that song, especially after he made a song about Cadillacs called One Piece at a Time. Oh, it's a fun song about this guy who works at an auto plant, and he sneaks his parts out one piece at a time, and he's going to build him a car. And of course, when the time comes, none of the parts fit together, and it describes all that. And it's about getting it to the man, and it's just a lighthearted, fun song. But there were people who believed that he sang that song, and uh, at one point, Johnny Cash was invited in 1970. He was invited to the White. Oh no, excuse me. I think in 1970 he was invited to the White House and by Richard Nixon, and he agreed to come. But the White House staff kept pressuring him to play the songs that Nixon really wanted to hear him play, and one of them that they wanted was "Welfare Cadillac." We want to hear what Nixon wants to hear, "Welfare Cadillac," this song about how awful it is for people to get social supports, and how it's misused. It just painted everybody with that brush. And Johnny Cash refused. They also wanted him to sing "Okie from Muskogee," and he refused to sing that one as well because of the time in 1970. Uh, um, uh, the culture wars were on, and watching that showed reading about that and studying that lets me know that Johnny Cash bothered to gain deep understanding about the power of music, deep understanding about the music that harms and the music that can help. Just a little side piece, I want to show you something. Um, Let me get that photo up. Um, I was I was doing my research for this, and so I researched Guy Drake, the guy who sang "Welfare Cadillac," and this popped up. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, you can't see it. How white supremacists created pop country music. You still can't see it. How white supremacists created pop country music, and there's a whole article here on exactly how that happened, and it was what triggered the article was when Beyonce won awards for a country music song. And just before that, a rapper had won an award for a country music song, and there was this racist backlash. This is our music. We saw that at the Super Bowl this month, didn't we? We saw it in the halftime show. That's how important culture can be. It helps everyone gain an understanding of where we are. It can help anyone gain an understanding and how far things can go. But it's not often used that way. Now, understanding the way Charles Fillmore wrote about it, excuse me, the way Charles Fillmore wrote about understanding is about the understanding of an individual, how one person can understand better and understand more, and all of it's about that. In groups, the correlation for a group is it would be an agreement. We have an understanding is often used as a synonym for agreement. When I hear that song, we have that line, we have an agreement. I always think of the movie Titanic when the rich snotty guy says, we're only the best are going to get off the ship, and or something like that. And he says we have an understanding, and the ship's purser just throws his money back to him and back at him. Understanding can be elusive. And sometimes the best way to understand understanding is through the opposite. I explore opposites of these ideas sometimes so I can understand more deeply. The opposite of understanding, of course, would be misunderstanding. And that happens within a person. Call it naivety, call it ignorance. These are not name calling words. They're states we can be in. Blank spots in our understanding are often worse than having no understanding of something. That's those half understandings, what you call pick and choosing from what's real. it drives politics, and it drives poverty. It drives so much of our society. The opposite of understanding is misunderstanding. And being having a misunderstanding is something that's private and personal. I don't know what it is that anyone doesn't understand. No one really knows what it is I don't understand, but we give each other clues through conversation. Conversation is the faculty of power. And when we use that to gain understanding of one another, we can use that to gain understanding of one another, or we can use it to to erase that. I'm having some throat stuff here, so what I'm going to do is um, what I'm going to do is take a little break, and we're going to have a meditation. I'm going to come back with some more after the meditation. Kamai, are you ready with a video to lead us into the meditation, and then I'll come back on as soon as it's over.
Let's take a moment to go within. Gently closing your outer eyes if that feels comfortable for you. Take a long, slow breath in through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. Allowing yourself to arrive right here, right now, in this moment. Breathing in again. And as you exhale, allow your shoulders to soften. Letting go of anything that needs to wait. Allow your breath to become your bridge between outer doing and inner being. Now imagine before you a quiet, peaceful place. You're standing on one side of a wide, gently flowing river. The air is warm and the sky is clear. And stretching out before you is a bridge. The bridge is safe, strong. It's made of light and wood and golden thread. It's not just a bridge of the physical world. It's a bridge across forever, linking your human experience with your divine nature. Now take a step forward onto the bridge. With each step, you release something that no longer serves you. A limiting belief, a fear of love, a need to control. Just let it go. Step by step, breath by breath, you're crossing into a deeper awareness of who you are. As you reach the center of the bridge, you pause. Look to your right and see the presence of the Divine Masculine. He is not one person, but an energy. Strong, loving, protective, grounded. Maybe he appears to you as a father, a guide, a mentor. Maybe he's simply a glowing presence, wise, calm, and reassuring. Feel the support. Feel the courage. Feel the invitation to step fully into your wholeness. Now look to your left. See the presence of divine love, the sacred feminine. Fluid, open, nurturing, and intuitive. You are held in balance here between freedom and connection, between strength and surrender. You realize you're not broken. You don't need to be completed. You're whole and holy and deeply loved. Allow this moment on the bridge to be a blessing. Perhaps today you offer forgiveness to a father, a partner, or to yourself. Maybe today you offer thanks for the people who showed up when you needed strength. Or maybe you just simply rest here, in peace and in knowing. Now take a few more steps across the bridge, taking your time, taking in everything around you. And as you reach the other side, you know that you carry the divine within you. The courage of the Father, the wisdom of the soul, the intuition of the Mother, the heart of one who chooses to love you again and again. That one could be someone else. But most importantly, that one is you. Breathe that in and allow it to settle into your body. And from the other side of the river, the other side of the bridge, you turn around and look back to where you've come from. All of the lessons that you've learned, all the masculine and feminine energies that have influenced you throughout your life. You turn away from the bridge and you look forward and you see a winding path continuing on. Taking your first step, feeling peace. Taking your next step, feeling confidence. And as you continue, you feel that support always with you, walking with you, and guiding you. As we end this meditation, we can always remember to come back to this scene, to this bridge, to meet with the divine feminine, the divine masculine, and to appreciate who we are and where we're going. Bring your awareness back to your body, feeling yourself present in this physical reality. Take a deep breath in and release it, feeling yourself more and more present within your body. You may feel the need to stretch or to move around a bit. When you're ready, you can open your eyes, beginning to feel yourself more and more conscious of the environment that you're sitting in, feeling your body supported by the chair and the earth beneath you. Take one more deep breath. And with gratitude, say thank you for this wonderful life. I am home.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Lori. That was wonderful. As I was growing up, my my example of the divine masculine was my father. Was no big surprise. Daddy was a Southern Baptist preacher in a small town in Texas in the 1950s, and he fit most of the stereotypes of that, but not all of them. That made my idea of the divine masculine, my understanding of the divine masculine, with some work to do. And I'm still doing that work. If you stop doing the work, if I stop, I'm not going to say that. If I stop doing the work, I'm done. And so that's the way it is for me. And my mother, of course, represented the divine feminine for me, and uh, she was of the same mindset, and actually. She had a misunderstanding of what I needed, and a complete misunderstanding really of who I am. Both of my parents died without really understanding who grew up in their house. And for a lot of my childhood, it looked to me like they were cheating me, and it turns out they were cheating themselves. Their catchphrase for me, or I don't know if it was this way for the other two, was "We're not going to discuss it. We're not going to discuss it." And I thought they were cheating me out of being able to express myself. And I built a rage in that. But what they did is cheated themselves out of the listening. The key to understanding between people is not in having more words. What's needed is more listening to the words that are just right there. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. When I was 14, I had I had a traumatic experience with my parents, and I've described pieces of it. But what happened really when I was 14 is I understood them better than they understood me. And I was able to play with that. I want to tell you one of the things I did. We moved from one place to another. It was a traumatic move for me. I lost my horses. The horses were sold. I came back from a church event to find out my horses had been sold, and I wasn't able to say goodbye because they didn't want to. Daddy didn't want a scene. A scene is the reason we're not going to discuss it. We don't discuss who's sad. We don't discuss who's mad. We don't discuss who's jealous, who was humiliated. None of that gets discussed because that's trouble in the family. In the household. We're going to have a peaceful household where it's going to be a loving household, and you better show up that way. So by the time I was 14, I understood them better than they understood me. And here's what happened at the end of, as we were having that move. I had loss after loss after loss, and every time I tried to find a way to ameliorate it to my parents, we're not going to discuss it. We're not going to discuss it. We're not going to discuss it. My needs were changing, and Mom was treating me like I was nine anyway, and I wasn't nine anymore. I can't believe Noah's 14. That was so cool to see those boys. Um, uh, so we moved, and I had loss after loss after loss. But as we were in our new place, something started happening. My mother started getting phone calls from women in the church who wanted to introduce themselves by phone and to just start building relationships. And I started hearing her have those phone calls over and over and over. And she told them, when the people asked about her children, she would tell them the same things. And what she would tell one person was, well, my oldest son, Davy, he brings home the honor roll every time. Every report card, I don't have to say anything to him. He just does it. And so a little while later, another call came in, and she was telling the story about her oldest son, how he brings home the honor roll every single time. And I was sitting there in devastation, wondering what I could possibly do about all these losses in my life, and my parents won't even talk to me about it. And I heard that three or four times, and I went, "Oh, Mom never got another honor roll from me, ever." I went all the way through high school without ever bringing one home. And it didn't feel like I was punishing them. It came from a place of, yeah, I guess I was punishing them. They robbed me of some things. I felt robbed of. I felt cheated. So if you rob me, I'm going to rob you. And my mother didn't find out that I did that on purpose until she was in her 70s. And yes, she was in her 70s, and it completely shocked her because she didn't understand the kids that lived in her house. She didn't bother to understand because she wasn't willing to listen. We're not going to discuss it. Doesn't keep me in the dark. It kept her in the dark. And once I finally understood that, I felt so much compassion for them that they had done that. The more we look into our own life, our own traumas, the more we dig back into uh, the muddy stuff, the greater our understanding grows. I use characters uh, uh, in in uh, in movies and in stories to as I mentioned, to understand, but we can understand the characters who have shown up in the story of our lives when we're willing to go back and revisit those stories. I hope I've managed to talk about understanding enough this morning. I realize that I have gotten out of our order. I hope Victoria is ready to give some announcements. I'm complete here. I'm so grateful for that for that meditation video. It was right there at the right time. I invite you to look up some songs. Uh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Give Welfare Cadillac a listen to, and one piece at a time, just to stick it to the man. If you want to, if you want to think about that. Victoria, do you have some announcements for us?
I do. And before I start, however, I'm going to ask Kamai um, if it would be allowed or appropriate while we're taping to play a song, for me to play a song from YouTube. And I don't know if that's possible or not.
Um, that
I'll pose
Victoria,
that I'll pose that question and now I'll get on with the announcements. And if an answer comes through, then that's fine. I'm prepared to play the song that David told us about, Welfare Cadillac, sung by Drake, if we're allowed to do that. In the meantime, our announcements for Unity of Tacoma for this week is that next Saturday, the 7th of March, will be our Saturday sandwich making, where we'll be making our 100 sack lunches to help feed our homeless population here in Tacoma. But this time it's going to be even more fun because last Saturday we had our person-to-person event, a appetizer brunch with art. And we made little 2x3 art cards where we did art and or stickers on both sides and enclosed each card in a little plastic sleeve. And those are going to be our gift inside the 100 sack lunches for each person to have an uplifting something from Unity of Tacoma today, which will be March 7th. I invite everybody to come and volunteer. We can always use volunteers. We have a great time. There's a lot of work done, but also a lot of happiness and laughter. And we make 50 meat and cheese sandwich sack lunches and 50 PB&Js. And we want to keep those nut people apart so that they don't get sick. And then also on Thursday evenings at 6:30 for just a half hour, from 6:30 to 7, we are doing a meditation through Lent, and it has to do with healing and healing through the energies of the universe and from within ourselves. It's healing in every sense of the word. It's not just about healing physical, but it's also about healing energies and healing of our mind and finding peace from within. So I welcome you all to our 11 o'clock Saturday, March 7th will be our sandwich making, and 6:30 p.m. on Thursdays will be our half-hour meditation for healing. And that's the basic thing. Now, I haven't looked on chat. I don't see anything. I don't have an answer in chat. David, do you know if I can play this?
Yes, I do know. I researched this. I was hoping I could play a bit of those
Can I
songs.
can I intervene?
It's
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Can I intervene for this one? Kamai has it queued up, and he'll play it when you guys are ready for it.
Okay. Well, we would
Right?
appreciate that, but that is copyrighted material. Somebody owns that material, the
Okay.
copyright on that
So
material.
let's wait till we end the service, and then we'll play it.
In the service, and then we can play it together. It's still iffy, but at least it won't be broadcasted and
That'd be good.
create evidence that way.
That was my concern.
Yes. Now, last time I spoke, there was mention of a meeting, of a member meeting. Did y'all already have that, or?
Oh,
No.
no, that would be another thing, is that in mid-March, we're going to be having our annual meeting.
Yes,
there you go.
I can't remember the actual date. I think it's towards the end of March. So we'll get that out to you guys as soon. We need to send you out something official anyway. We just are trying to get our board meeting taken care of so we have all of our ducks in a row.
All right. Well, friends, thank you, Victoria, and thank you, friends.
Welcome.
Very typically, we would cue up the musician to play "Let There Be Peace on Earth," but that is copyrighted material too. So in place of a video, oh, that's where I draw the line. I do not sing, and so so that's that. Um, we'll figure out what needs to happen um, with that for a future service. This is my first time experimenting with this in this way, anyway.
David?
Yes.
Yeah, we have our own recorded version of the peace song,
Oh, okay.
done by Jeff G. I don't know if Kamai can pull that up or not, but we could maybe do that.
Well, why don't we skip it this time and we'll come back. You know the peace song, just walk around your house singing it. I do that. I catch myself doing that all the time. Don't forget to support this ministry. If you're watching online, if you're watching on YouTube, this is a group worth supporting financially as well as with your presence. I love you all, and I'm going to sign out. Oh, wait, discussion. Who wants to discuss? Who
Yes,
wants
we're
to
going to go
discuss